Hello everyone, Victor here. In this video, I will talk about one particular type of the conics, which is parabola. Let's start with some important properties of parabola. So first of all, the vertex. Now the vertex is located at the very end of the parabola, which is here. So this is the vertex. We normally denote it as x0 and y0. So it is x0 and y0. Alright, the next one is the focus. Focus is another point which is not on the parabola. It's somewhere along the axis of the parabola and it is of distance a. So let's say if it is here, if the focus is here, then it is of distance a from the vertex. Alright. Now the third property of a parabola is the directrix of the parabola. So it is a straight line away from the parabola, and interestingly it also has a distance from the parabola, and the distance is measured from the vertex to the straight line, and it is a again. Right? So whenever you see a is actually denoting a distance from the vertex to either side of the parabola. Now in the textbook you will see a general formula of parabola like this, which is x squared equals to 4ay. Now this is only the most simple form of a parabola. The more general form is actually this one. Now notice that it has two more things in the formula or the equation. First of all, it has the x0, and secondly it has a y0, which actually are the coordinates of the vertex. So this one is more general, and in the examples you will see this particular equation rather than this one. Alright, so now if we generalize the equation, then you will see that for each of the cases for the parabola you have a slightly different form of the equation. Why? Because first of all you have two general types. First of all, so the first one is like a landscape form, and the other is the more portrait form. And since a is just a measurement of a distance, so it is always positive. So whenever you see something like that, the general form of the general equation of the parabola will be like this: y minus y0 squared equals to 4ax minus x0. Right? So it is the same as before. Now if you see something like that, it will be slightly different. The first part is the same, but on this side you will see a negative sign like that. That's because we want to keep a as a positive number. Now on here, if you see the parabola to be portrait, then you will see a slightly different equation, which is like this: x minus x0 square equals to a 4ay minus y0. Right? And similarly, for this type of thing, you will see a similar equation but with a negative sign in front. Right? So if somehow you know that a parabola is like this, you know exactly what kind of equation that you are going to use. Okay? Now one important thing is, whenever you see this x0, y0, again it points to the vertex, which is not necessarily on the origin. So that's why you will see something like that. If it happens that the vertex is on the origin, x0 and y0 will become 0, and you will see that simple form that you see in the textbook. Now let's go to the first example of this video. So here the question is to find the equation of a parabola with focus at 2, 3, the point 2, 3, and having a vertex 2, 2. So before everything, I would suggest you to try to at least sketch or have a rough idea of how the parabola will look like. So suppose this is the origin. So we know that the parabola will have a focus point on 2, 3. So let's say this is 2, let's say this is 3. So the focus will be here. So let's say this is the focus. Alright, and the vertex is on 2, 2, so it is slightly lower here. And let's say it is V. Right. Now from here you know that the parabola will look something like this. Right, because this is the focus point, this is the vertex, and because of that, right away you know which form of the standard equation or the general equation that you are going to use, which is this one. Alright, so what next is you are going to figure out what x0, a, and y0 are. Now, as I mentioned before, x0 and y0 are just coordinates of the vertex, so right away you know that x0 is 2 and y0 is also 2. Okay, so what's left is just what is the value of a. Alright, now so what are we going to do is we just need to know that a is actually the distance between the focus and the vertex, so which is this distance. This is a, and from here you know that so it is like vertically above the vertex, and the distance of course is what? Is 3 minus 2. Alright, so 3 minus 2 is the distance between the focus and the vertex, right? So which is equal to 1. So which means that equals to a. So right away you know the answer. That is the equation of this parabola, which is x minus x0 is 2, right? Which is this guy, and now it's for a we know that is 1, and y minus 2, and this 2 is actually this guy. Okay, so there you go, the general equation of the parabola, which looks like this. Now let's take a look at a slightly more complicated example. So here what we have is a question like this. So you are going to find another equation for the parabola passing through the origin and have a focus at O1 and the axis along y equals to 1. Alright, so let's begin with sketching the parabola so that we know that what type of the equation that we will be tackling. So once again, this is the origin, and we know that the parabola will pass through the origin. Okay, so let's mark it like this, and the axis of the parabola is y equals to 1. So let's say this line is y equals to 1. Alright, and it tells us that the focus is O1, so it is O and then 1, so this is here, so this is the focus. Okay, F, let's say it is F. Alright, now from here we know that the curve or the parabola will either be like this and pass through 0, or will be like that, pass through 0 again. Okay, so we have two possible candidates for the parabola. So let's say this is P1, let's say this curve is P2. Alright, so depending on which direction the parabola is, we have a slightly different general form. So P1 is actually this the first equation, and P2 will look like this. This is P2, this is P1. So here let's take a look at P1 first. Now once again, what you are going to do is try to figure out what y0 is, what x0 is, and what a is. Right, three things. So from here we know that, from the question we know that the curve P1 passes through the origin. That is to say, the point origin, which has the coordinate 0, will satisfy the equation. So that's why if we plug in, we will have 0 minus y naught square equals to 4a x, which is 0, sorry, and then minus x naught. Alright, so we have y naught square, we have 4a times 0, which is 0, and then 4a times minus x naught, we have minus 4a x naught. This is equation number 1. Okay. Now next, let's take a look at the focus. So we know that the focus is here, right? Is 01. So let's write it down here. So the focus is 01. Now because this is 01, and then we know that the value a is actually the distance between the focus and the vertex. Okay, let's say this vertex is x naught, y naught, right? So we know that the a here is just the distance between the vertex and the focus. And actually from here we know that the y naught is actually equal to 1, because the vertex will always lies on the axis. So because focus is 01, then we know that the vertex is, so this is 0 minus a, and we have the y coordinate of the vertex, which is 1, right? So which is minus a and 1. Now if we plug this thing into 1, which is this one, because this negative a is actually x naught, this 1 is actually y naught. Alright, so if we substitute into 1, then we have 1 square equals to minus 4a times negative a. So it means that 1 equals to 4a square. Then it will give us a equals to plus or minus half. But since we know we define a as a positive number, so we will not use the negative value of a. So we know, hence we know that a equals to 1 over 2, and therefore the vertex, now we know the vertex is minus half and 1. Okay, so this is actually what we need. This is x naught and this is y naught, right? And we know a as well. So the equation, that is the P1 that we need, is, so the equation of parabola is y minus 1 square equals to 4, and then a is half, and then we have x minus x naught, and x naught is negative half, so we have this guy, and this is the equation of P1. Now you can do a similar thing on P2, and in fact you don't have to do anything special, you just plug in and then you will get the exact same thing. So for P2 we will have y minus 1, the same thing, equals to, now this time we have the negative sign, so we have negative 4 half, and then times x, and then plus half. So here the equation is not, the answer for this question is not unique. We actually have two parabolas satisfying this condition. So there you go. Here is some examples of parabola. The most important thing for you to know is whenever you are asked to somehow find the equation of a parabola, just remember the particular forms of the parabola, and all you need to figure out are the coordinates of the vertex and the value a. Alright, there you go. I hope this helps, and I'll see you next time.